Welcome to the Ballet Help Desk podcast. My name is Jenny, and I am joined by my co-founder, Brett. We are both proud ballet moms who met backstage at our children's recital. During our kids' training, we found that resources were limited, and we relied on dance magazines and fellow parents in the lobby for information. Now that our children are embarking on their professional careers, we are excited to share our combined 20 years of experience as ballet moms with all of you. We'll be bringing in experts to help make sense of this complex world of ballet training. Thank you for joining us today for a fascinating conversation with Vasile Petrutiu, founder of the World Ballet Competition and Central Florida Ballet. Born in Transylvania, Romania, Mr. Petritiu graduated at the top of his class with the highest degree in the field of dance from Romanian Academy of Fine Arts. Following graduation, he immediately joined the Romanian National Opera and Ballet in Bucharest and later accepted an invitation to join the Classical and Contemporary Ballet of Romania as principal dancer. He toured extensively throughout Europe, Canada, and the United States. In 1982, he defected while on tour in the USA. In 1984, Mr. Petritiu established his residency in the United States and later got his citizenship. His distinguished career includes the title of principal dancer with noted ballet companies Pittsburgh Ballet Theater, Cleveland San Jose Ballet, Dallas Ballet, Tulsa Ballet Theater, Nevada Dance Theater, Royal Winnipeg Ballet, and Alberta Ballet, and encompassed an extensive repertoire of leading roles in classical ballets and contemporary pieces. Mr. Petritiu also acted as artistic director, master teacher, school director, and choreographer for several companies, most recently Southern Ballet Theater, now Orlando Ballet. Under his direction, they successfully eliminated a trailing deficit of over $400,000, tripled season subscriptions, and earned a surplus of $125,000 by his third year of leadership. In 2000, Mr. Petritiu founded and incorporated the Ballet Academy of Central Florida and Central Florida Ballet, guiding these two organizations to great success. The Academy reached an enrollment of over 300 students in just 4 months, and in 2003, Mr. Petritiu's Nutcracker production received international recognition for being one of the 5 outstanding productions in the nation, according to USA Today and CNN Headline News. In 2007, Central Florida Ballet was recognized for its original production of 9/11, An American Moment, by the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C., as the only company in the nation to have created a ballet on 9/11, this fateful day in American history. In 2007, Mr. Petritiu inaugurated the World Ballet Competition, which became the first ballet competition to be entirely broadcast on the internet. The World Ballet Competition has since generated more than 30 million views on the internet and has been featured in numerous magazines internationally, including multiple page layouts for Dance for You magazine based in Europe, Dance Brazil magazine based in South America. Mr. Petritiu is excited to continue working with professional dancers and students throughout the world as he brings quality dance to Central Florida and abroad. Hello, thank you so much, and welcome back to the Ballet Help Desk. Today we are joined by Vasile Petrutiu. Did I say that right?
Petrutiu, it's good.
Founder and executive director of the World Ballet Competition. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
So we'd like to just jump right into some questions. Can you tell us something special or different about World Ballet Competition? What would you really like dancers to know?
A ballet competition is not for everyone. It's a substantial financial stress on any household with limited budgets. If a dancer's mindset is only on winning and defeat is emotionally intense to endure or not acceptable, my advice is don't compete. And we have examples every day in what I'm trying to say here, that it's not an easy task, and it's mainly very expensive. Very few competitions have that we select a number of people, a number of dancers to be accepted. And then we during the system, as once they grow in age, they are going to have to go through 3 rounds of the competitions to finally get to the winning platform. The others, it doesn't matter they are winning or not. There are many talents, and like I said, because we pre-select them ahead of the competition, there are many reasons. One is the theater space, because we have so much hours and so many days. Otherwise, we will go, if we accept more, we'll go for weeks at a time. Varna does, Jackson, I believe. But we already, because they are selected, they are at a higher level already.
And it sounds like that is something that is special and unique about you, is that you do a pre-selection. So already to make it through to that first round, it does make you already an advanced dancer. Would you say that that's fair?
Yes, unless we have an open, which is, we do have, others are calling it regionals. We call it World Ballet Competition Open. And basically in Brazil, I don't know for how many years we've been there. And then Romania, in Europe, we have solicitations from basically all around the world. I think at this point we rejuvenated our system because it's unique. Not any other competition are doing what World Ballet Competition is doing with the scoring system. And now it's developed and rejuvenated to the new standards and all that. So I believe at this point we're ready to start going more regionals in the United States, because basically all states in the United States are begging us for years to come. Because we are selecting these dancers who we accept, but the others are still, there are lots of, unfortunately, every year, they are dancers which they are strong dancers, but because of the space, we cannot handle them. However, doing the regionals makes sense, because then all these dancers can participate as well, because there is not a pre-selection per se.
Right. So when are you thinking about launching the regional?
As of next year, I believe.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, we are working at that as well. So we already have, like I said, solicitation with some state we are considering, but we don't want to promote anything until something is set on stone. So.
Sure. But I think that's exciting that you're looking to expand in that way. With competition season really upon us already, as students are starting to settle down and really get ready for competition season, what are some guiding principles that you would think that they should follow in order to have a successful experience?
I believe the structure of World Ballet Competition is a little bit stricter than others. The judges are really focused into, and it's stressful for judges as well, because the nature of our competition, projecting the scores on top of that, right after the routine is done, then broadcast live. That puts them in a very hard position, because there is no second thought. So you have to judge on the spot, but they are instructed, all of them know, and now it's known probably in the world that World Ballet Competition is different than others based on fairness and transparency. If there is no transparency, to display, the scores immediately after, so there is no going behind the doors and change score and comment. It's already there. So this is a very, very difficult for judges. They have to think very hard. The World Ballet Competition announces score differently than other. So let's focus on this since we open it up. Yes, the scoring system of World Ballet Competition is exclusive. It is a known fact that most competitions are largely politically grounded and mainly rigged. This is the reason why I started this competition, because I was so saturated and been in a jury, and I saw things happening which to me it didn't fit with my character, and because there are others who deserve to score better, to be promoted, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And that affects young minds, because kids are much brighter than we were when we were young, have so much, opportunities than we had in the past. So children are not dumb by any means. So, but they do let themselves down when they know there's something is not right over there, and there's nothing they can do. And that's what broke my heart many times, because we were actually participating in competitions, and I was disappointed with things how they've been done. This is why we started the World Ballet Competition. I came home and I told everybody, the board of directors and everybody said, "You're crazy." And I said, "Yes, I am. But I want something, the kids would walk out of here, come here, compete, walk out of here, feeling that, this was fair, this was good, this was basically where a competition should be everywhere. If you're participating, you should be treated as so. Our judging system scoring is based on what dancers are performing on this stage over here. Not that they are maybe stronger dancers than others, so we can compare them technically, artistically, and all in a whole. But through 3 rounds, they have to be consistent, and we all have good days and bad days and fair days and so forth. But they have 3 rounds to catch up if things don't go right and all that.
So can I ask you, do you combine all 3 rounds of scores to compile a final score?
To mention ahead of that we are using the system of Olympic system, where a number of judges are scoring, and they are scoring 2 times. One for artistic merit and the other one for technical merit. Those 2, let's say we have 8 judges. The highest score and the lowest score drop, and the cumulative of the other scores would be divided in the number of judges, sustaining the score. And that carries on through the 2nd round, 3rd round, and so forth. That is difficult to do, be so transparent. And some judges will say, sometimes we have discussions, that maybe I was a little bit off in there and all that. But it didn't matter, because if they did go too high, their score dropped. If went too low, their score dropped. So in a whole, you're coming to, the main number, which is going to sustain.
Does classwork, I know you have master classes on top of the performances. Does anything that happens in the master class factor into how a dancer might place in the standings?
No. Master classes are basically for exposing the dancers, to different styles of teaching, because we all know there are many styles of teaching in the world. And my takeout of this is, a personality of a teacher versus the student is different in all environments, and we have different characters. The goodness of that is that you never know. I keep telling our children, or wherever I go to teach, that reminding you one word or one correction, which probably you got it 100 times before, but now you're hearing it first time again. This is the goodness of children taking from different. I come from Vaganova training. It was a very strict training. You need a base, basically. And they are grasshoppers. They go to 15 studios and all that, which is fine. But if you're interested in pursuing this as a career, ballet, it's very tough. It's not a joke. We're transforming the whole body, which is not meant to be. No, the master class would not affect. It makes a difference in between the awarding the scholarships. Right. Job fair. Because, we're talking about, you noticed that we do a job fair as well.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, because of the accessibility with the internet and the broadcast live, we have plenty of, the directors don't have to really come travel here to see a dancer. A decision is not made by and as professional, three movements, you figure out if that dancer would fit, the purpose of your company, if you're a director, for example, or not, or do you need that particular character into your company to complete whatever the structure of the company is. So there are multiple jobs, mainly in Europe. But I believe the main reason is because, they are in USA as well, Asia, mainly Europe, Asia, and USA, where jobs are coming from. But mainly in Europe, there are so many theaters. There are so many dance companies, which they don't have a school, especially Germany. They have over 400 and some theaters. Each town almost has incredible, but it's sustained by the government. We know we are in the United States. Our government doesn't do much about education and art, which is main things in a cultural society.
That is a podcast for another day, for sure.
Yeah.
Can I just clarify one thing? I think what I heard you saying is because, and this is one thing I want to make sure that everybody hears, is that World Ballet, the competition, is broadcast. The whole thing is available to watch online. And so what you're saying is there may be artistic directors from ballet companies that are not attending in person, but they're watching this, which gives the dancers significantly more exposure than just to the people who are attending the actual event.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. And most of the time, the directors are inquiring, I need this kind of dancer. I need this kind of dancer. I need. I have this repertoire this year, and I need extra characters and all that. And then we're looking at what they have to be. When we're talking about job fair, they have to be 16 and over. And I think one of your observation was, why do we have this large for the professional? They have to be at age that at least you are adult.
Sure. What does the structure of the job fair look like? Is it mostly a class? Do the students prepare a variation? What does that structure look like for the job fair?
Well, we used to do it in different ways, and we used to broadcast only that segment, which would be a 2-hour class taught by maybe a director, or maybe a ballet master or assistant, and that was broadcast specifically for that. But because of the too many dancers involved, and job fair was open to other people outside the competition.
Oh,
and
I see.
They did audition through, and they still do, through the video, and they had to be accepted as well, for the job fair.
Okay, so to just clarify, you don't have to be a part of the competition. You just have to submit a video to say you would like to be a part of the job fair.
Well, and you have to be par to whatever the level. We have a list of companies. You have to serve the criteria.
I see. No, that's great. And so then, because the directors can watch their variations live, so do you basically just do like a long class, like an hour and a half class, or 2 hours, or yeah?
And in the meantime, it would be partnering and other, but not exactly variations. There's variations they can see mostly on the broadcast when they compete. Job fair is a little bit different, that displaying more of elements of a technique and all that.
Sure. I think that's a wonderful component to your competition. So can you talk us a little bit about the process of how dancers actually make it through to the finals?
They have to audition, and then they have to be pre-selecting committee. I'm not in the selecting committee. Once they are accepted, then they have to go through the process of enrolling into the competition. And they have, amount of time by when they have to give an example of 3 rounds, which is pre-professional and professionals. They have to send ahead of time. And it's important, maybe ask later about the structure, because we have first, second, and third round regarding classical solos. They submit all the music ahead of time. By whenever we know what number they are, they have to submit all the material ahead of the competition, because then all this music is entered into a computer-based system, and it's very hard to change afterwards because they are like over 1,000 or whatever pieces. So it's very hard to meticulously difficult for our team to go rearrange everything, to switch music. Or that's why we have a deadline for submitting all these materials, because it's very hard to go back. Now, we had 3 rounds, and we have, and I think one of your question is, how do you choose them by age and categories and all that? Okay, referring to these 3 rounds again, we have for each age category, we have a repertoire chosen from it's listed in our, portal to choose from this variation. We can elaborate on that later on. There are variations which lots of dancers are performing in other competitions, which our competition do not permit.
Why is that?
Because when we took the whole repertoire and having in considerations the copyrights, especially today, it's either the music, choreography, depends on anything. Today is copyright, choreography, and also the pieces. There are some choreographies which they are, or like Balanchine, for example. We don't accept Balanchine unless they have a copyright. But then some, they had a copyright and we didn't allow them. So then we came up with this, because we're still learning. We're not perfected yet. Then we came up with this. Okay, first for qualifications, because it depends on who's passing. Basically, half of them are gonna pass through, or maybe more, maybe less. It depends on the quality. They will pass through the second round. Well, in the second round, first round is based basically on a variation and contemporary. Second round, we are going to go through this variation, which was in question, which we don't have it. It's their choice, what variation they choose at that point, except it has to have copyrights, because we're not going to assume music copyrights or choreography copyrights or whatever, and we're not going to accept that. So second round, they choose their own. Third round, then they can repeat or do different, but from our repertoire. No more freedom.
I see. So, and everyone makes it to all 3 rounds?
No. Basically, in the first round, that almost half they are going to be cut.
Okay.
Secondly, almost half they are going to be cut, and then whoever's remaining, going through the third round.
I want to talk specifically about kids who may have not competed before, and this might be their first time. What are some mistakes you see kids make when they come to competitions? And I don't mean falling on stage, but in terms of how they approach the overall competition.
I don't look for mistakes, honestly. I believe, my opinion would be probably a mistake to come if you never competed before. First of all, you have no clue what, or maybe heard, or maybe now with the internet and all that, everybody's exposed to. So probably it's an error to say that they didn't compete or they have no awareness, how competition runs. I would believe if they come too egotistically, that they think that they are so superior that it's just going to win. I think this is the biggest mistake anybody can make in any competition, I guess, because I think we started with, touching this. It's not easy. It's just not easy. If you come with an attitude like this, you may be disappointed. And this is what we don't want. This is why I wanted a fair competition, because we want to keep their spirit in a whole. And do they learn? They learn from each competition. Doesn't matter what competition there is. They learn what to do, not to do, or what is acceptable or not acceptable.
And so the other group that always attends competitions is the parents. And most of our listeners are parents of younger dancers. So ages maybe 12 to 15. What do you believe the role of parents should be at a competition?
It's a good question. And, I'm a parent.
Right.
But we know as parents that we're biased, no matter what, However, and I have many meetings with parents as well about when a parent gets involved too heavily, it's not healthy for the dancer, it's not healthy for our environment, it's not healthy for them. I'm always referring to, I'm not a doctor. Or I ask them, what do you do? What is your specialty? And they say, I say, well, I can do that too. Whoa, 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 whoa. Exactly. What your specialty is, we all could argue around it and all that. But, as a doctor, I can tell you, take a Advil, take a Tylenol or whatever, for whatever the symptoms are. But do I really know that that's the right thing to do or not? No. So this is why I ask parents to stay away unless a parent is a professional, in our dance world. And yes, we'll have different discussions. And then it's okay. Criticism is, to me, is a great thing, because this is how lots of things we do not take in consideration comes, afloat. So to me, I am not eliminating a discussion, but a parent should be just there to encourage, to care, to take care of needs, what the dancer, and then let the professionals take care of the rest of it. It's just like in any specialty. But I love parents. And like I said, I'm a parent too. Except there are boundaries which sometimes, we chose to cross, and then, go back to our lives, I guess.
Do you have parents or studios coming to you frequently with concerns?
Yes, always. And the discussion should be always open. This is how we learn from each other. This is how we make things better, through communication. And to me, there's nothing is wrong. Even in a class, I tell children, don't be ashamed that a thing doesn't come. And I keep telling them, remember when you're little, you couldn't walk, you're crawling first. And then, you started and hopping and dropping on the floor. And do you have a problem with that at this point? No. Okay. So to me, psychologically, I think it's very healthy to have these conversations. And also, we can help, the parents can help us in well-being of not just a dancer, well-being of a kid, of a child, because they need our guidance. However, most of them, when they grow a little bit in a teenage and all that, they may think it's done, they know it all. We did that too. We can only stop them to think, because we're not going to change their behavior. We just stop them and think, and maybe they will think a little more than just take a decision on the fly. So that's why we're there. We're mentoring.
Absolutely. So if a studio or a parent does have a concern, what is the appropriate channel to take? How do you like them to approach you?
I don't know if there's an appropriate channel. I mean, I'm very open, and my door is open most of the time. I see different, and I know, we know, different personalities out there. To me, I would like to solve a problem if there is a problem, or discuss an issue if there is an issue, and clear it up as soon as possible. Because, if it's accumulating, and there are lots of introvert people, which they are suffering the most. To me, openness the best you can have, because at that point, we can fix, whatever inadequacies we have.
No, I think that's great advice to come with an openness and a willingness for a conversation rather than like or in a fixed mindset where there is no room for growth. I think approaching the conversation from an open and for a dialogue, I think you're right, is the best way to approach those things. I appreciate you touching on those things.
We have so much talent today. It's like not even funny. And they are natural talent. We lost even in our times natural talent because of restrictions. And ballet is not the most entertaining unless you really grow into it and then you develop and all that. At the beginning, it's kind of structured, it's strict, it's boring. My son got out of there like in 1 year. He was out. I said, "Dad, this is boring," So,
Sure, it's totally true. So okay, so we would like to dispel a couple of myths around ballet competitions. Is there one myth in particular that you would really like to dispel about World Ballet Competition?
first of all, World Ballet Competition is a competition which does not recruit. We're not about numbers. And this is another thing, everybody should know who is coming to our competition. You're not going to see me calling your studio and other people calling your studio, to bring me as many people, you can. When you make that first step, you are obliging yourself to something. And that's not fair anymore. And this is where the politics starts. We got bribes. I got bribes for this competition to do something. And I said, no, this is the wrong competition. Go somewhere.
People have tried to bribe you?
Yeah. Well, why are you surprised? There's lots of things on behind the scenes and all that. So I said, this is the wrong competition, completely wrong competition. And it was not even something. I mean, and we were outside of the country. I could have done plenty of stuff. And we are not in Romania because of this at this point. We cut it off. After 5 years, we cut it off because I felt like first year, second year, a little bit here, a little bit there. And then there were something said, we're done. We're done here. And they're begging us to go back. I said, no more, because this is not the competition. This has to be what it is. And there's no behind the scenes. During the 16 year of the competition, lots of judges were here. You're not seeing them anymore because wrong competition, Wow. So
transparency and integrity seems really integral for you and for World Ballet Competition, that you really want to keep it as transparent and as honorable as possible, it seems.
Yes, that's first, fairness and transparency.
What are some of the other kind of unhealthy practices you see around ballet competitions? And I don't necessarily mean like the political part of it, but with all these different studios involved and the parents and the children, what are some things that you see that you find to be unhealthy or that you would like to see not happen?
Competition in between other studios. And we just had recently, right, this, which was so sad, when two rival studios, they were here. And the coaches started to get into each other in front of children. I mean, it's not the first time, but this was the one time when he went overboard. Mm-hmm. And I was appalled when I heard it because, they caught me somewhere and say, hey, I think it's time for you to interfere and all that kind of stuff. That was the ugliest thing you could ever. I mean, first of all, you as a human being, you as a mentor, you as a coach, you as a choreographer, you have the audacity in front of children to show your ugliness. 2 years, they're going to be banned. Both of the coaches. They're going to ban because we don't accept something like that. We're here to learn.
Did you ban the coaches or the entire
coaches? The coaches. I would never, and even the jury. Sometimes I tell the jury, don't punish the dancer. Let's keep in mind, because, lots of dancers are doing what they were told to do. So let's don't damage soul because of the mistake, a coach would make, because most of the time choosing the wrong variation for the wrong character, for the wrong body, it's not we are educating, we're trying, at least we're trying to reach out, after, during, before, sometimes, to tell them maybe you should consider, because we know the competition and it's tough competition. It's not an easy competition. You're not coming here just because you're good and you're paying your dues and you're going to go win. It's not. Sometimes we see this costume choices and things, and we have to take all in consideration. We understand as from the professional perspective that kids have no fault, or dancers, competitors, they have no fault. Be a little lenient and let's go straight to the coach and talk to. And we have sometimes the jury members talk to some what is different, and how you approach when teachers, coaches, and parents or whatever, they have questions. The only competition in the world, I think, is exposing the jury members. We have a conference at the last, before the award ceremony. We have a conference in between the jury members. We expose all the jury members. This is unheard of, in front of parents, coaches, directors, teachers, and answer the questions. Why the score over here is this, and how did you get up to this? And this is another hard. I mean, it's very hard to be a jury member in our competition, honestly. Very hard. And you have to be really dedicated and really believing in what you're doing, because you are educating somebody. So they, based on their notes, starting the competition, which is not much, but little by little, we made it easier to say my corrections to you. This is what I would love to see improvement and whatever, however. So there is by age category. I mean, they have a block of 1 hour with one category and a block with the other category, where judges are asked questions, and sometimes it's confrontational. But to me, it's okay. You and I do the same thing, and I believe in, I think all these discussions are great, because it gets you somewhere, or other people around, they figure out lots of things or answers to the questions they may have had and they didn't ask. So this is unique also about the World Ballet Competition.
Yeah. Why did you decide to do that?
From the beginning, because of transparency. The dancers are going to be judged by what happened on this stage, not what the awards they already have. And we had some from Europe, some guys coming here to win. And It wasn't like that at all. And of course, they didn't like it, because it didn't go the way they thought. Okay, I'll do one round and that's it, and the others I can flop around. No. You have to be accountable until the end. Like I said, I wanted you as a teacher or as a director or as a coach to talk to me, because I was judging your competitor. So I can tell you, okay, here it is. All this is good. This needs work. This needs work. This needs work. Do keep in mind, I coach too for the competition as well. Not so much anymore, but we are also, and as teachers, there are so many things in a body we can fix, and then some things which, for whatever reason, they can never get fixed. But to us, it's not that important to say that this will make it or break it, like a port de bras, like whatever, or a little attitude, or okay, may not be important to the new eye. It is important. So then you, as a coach, you knew this is a problem you had with that person for a long time. And it was brought up again. So what do? Go back and try to fix it. So this is why we do this. And they are very lucrative, actually. Lots of people are walking away with at least some gratitude that at least they were explaining why and how, not just.
Absolutely. I think that that's a really unique, wonderful part of your competition, though it might be hard to, really ask a judge in front of your peers why they scored you a particular way, but to really get that feedback and to be able to have that discussion, you do leave with some clarity. Where do you think ballet competitions fall in terms of level of importance in terms of determining a professional career?
I really don't think that a competition will make a professional dancer. And there are lots of dancers who don't like to compete. You can go both ways over there. Would it make? Yes, a competition is important to expose the interested ones to what is out there they don't see, to compare themselves with a level of where they are and they should be or they aspire to be. Creates a lot of relationship. In our case, mostly international relationship and friendships from there that they are involved in the same activity, and I hear they are visiting each other and all that.
Oh, that's so nice.
Plus, in the summer intensive, whatever, they will visit each other, to take summer intensive here, summer intensive there, because of this relationship within. How important it is, how much, as a professional career, look, there's no one to tell because, you can get to 15, 16, exceptional, to let's say 16, which I believe, today 16 is the norm, to be an apprentice at least, or a trainee, or sometimes even in a company, because like I said, there are so many talents out there, it's like not even comprehensible. It's hard to, all the companies, they're like cookie cutter, they can choose today because there are so many. Technique, everybody has it. This is why it's good to give the liberty to a talent to do. Give the liberty. Don't restrict it because and with the point shoes, like I said, not everyone. They are elements. So let me take back. Not to think that everybody should go on point at whatever age. Like we name 10. No, not at all. Not at all. They are just some few elements which they are born to do that, and you don't expose them to whatever, they may give it up and you lose the talent. We lost lots of dancers before because they gave up, they lost patience, or they developed, and we go to the 16, 17, what we are saying, that maybe they should at that point approach the professional level, but they give up. And this is the detriment of the competition, in my opinion. They learn so many variations. They handle so beautifully some of the work for these variations, and then get into a company and then start from the bottom is very hard for some. It's very
Right.
hard for some because they are used to do already the principal roles, but they are going to be done now for the leading people in a company, and they have to wait and wait and wait and wait. And this is a detriment of the competition. It teaches them too much, too early, and then get there, and they are not going to be what they are working at through the competitions and all that. So it is what it is.
Are you kind of saying that you feel like competition should just be a part of your training, but another whole part of that training should be learning how to do core work and working in a group, because the majority of your career will be spent in the core?
Absolutely. And also the education should be directed that way. Larger studios, which was probably best dancer, well, what we perceive to be more advanced dancers and all that, they have these abilities. But some other studios, which are great, and they produce, lots of great dancers, they may not have the abilities, to use them in a complete in a combination with all this. This is where it's give and take. I could not even pinpoint what is going to happen, but we see lots of dancers, give up, and big names from big competitions and all that, they're not dancing anymore at early age. Why? I think, to me, it's this obstacle that they join a company and they have to start in a core and they're not used to that, and then aura is gone and all that. So that's the only thing I see in a competition, which what can you do?
Yeah.
Except for
So
them.
we get actually a lot of questions from parents about social media. And in your competition, so many of the kids who do really well in competitions then become kind of Insta famous. Do you guys take social media presence into account when you're looking at dancers and judging them?
Not during the competition. Oh, well, that's another thing about the jury members. They don't even know who they are. They know number. That's it. No school where they're coming from, no teachers who is teaching them, no nothing. Nothing. It's just a number. And it's very difficult to judge in our competition as a jury member. It's completely, you really have to be dedicated. You really have to believe in it. Why are they here? Because they believe in fairness too.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, there's no conflict of interest. And it's very hard to choose from the entire world somebody who has no conflict of interest. But if they do bring some kids, whoever is in the jury, they are not judging for the entire the rounds. They judge other, but not.
Okay.
They don't judge for the entire 3 rounds if they have a competitor, and they are not allowed to talk with each other about their competitor. There's very strict rules. It's not a joke. They cannot disclose. They know something or whatever, and all that. That's it's all what it is about the competition. Except in the last round, I think, when they before the awards ceremony, whatever, when they get where they are coming from. And I give you an example with Mariana Cherkassky. She was in the jury. And at that point, we were, this early ages, we were competing. And we had a group piece. She turned to me, said, Vasile, I really like these dancers in this group. And I was like, how do I get to choose some of them? And I said, okay, Mariana, I will get information where they're coming from and whatever. However, just point them to me and say, okay, this one, this one, this one. Okay, so I made notes and whatever. Well, do you know? That was our group. And so I knew all the dancers. Okay, so that one, dark hair, right? Yeah, and the guy, yeah, okay, so that one, the whatever, hyperextended legs, yeah, the blonde one. So she chose 4 of this group. And I said, so competition goes on and whatever, however, at the end, she goes, Vasile, this is are your kids? I say, yes. So why didn't you tell me? I said, well, because if I would have told you, you will look at them from different eye perspective.
Right.
At this point, and in a group, you chose them because they earned it. And this is what I would like to have going on. They earn a spot. And we're talking about, is it good to come? Yes, they earn a spot, not through connections, affiliation, relations, and all that kind of stuff. This is what I would like to see this competition to go forward with, the fair and transparent as they can be.
So that's what you would like to see as the future of ballet competitions,
I would love for everybody to open up to that, because money is money. I understand. I mean, we're not making that much money, really. If everybody think, that we're making tons of money, we don't. First of all, when we're choosing a theater, Orange County Convention Center, whoever has been there, they understand it's a quality. Space is huge. Pay lots of money to be there. Lots of other amenities, we have to pay. Lots of them, plus the hotels, which they're not cheap by any means.
No, they are not.
So there's lots of expenses going on in there. Plus we give also cash awards, with the medals and all that. But other competitions, yes, they care probably about bringing in more money. And it's amazing. When we were in Romania, they flew me over there and they wanted our software because they like the software and all that. And the organizer was, okay, we discussed and all that, and we're talking about how we provide the software and make it a custom made, for them and all that kind of stuff. But then at one point or another, I said, but why do you have to show the people scoring? Can you not wait and show it the next day? I said, well, you can. Do you want to be transparent or you just, and he was very honest. He said, oh, we have things to serve. We cannot do that. So that was it. So there's no other competition who can do that unless you're willing to do that. We are, and I am, that's why I opened this World Ballet Competition. I want it to be transparent. Only competition out there which we cannot change anything. It's there from the day one to the end.
And clearly you are very passionate about the transparency and honesty of your competition. And I really appreciate you sharing so much about that because I'm getting a huge education. Let's have a little bit of fun. What are some of the craziest things you've seen at a competition?
Oh, my dear. This is some costume issues, losing shoes, exposure. Sometimes those are like unpleasant situations, I guess, for dancers or tripping when you're done, which is notorious, I guess, for dancers. Once they get out of the concentration, they lose, and then that's when things are gonna happen. I see other competitions, there's lots of goof ups going around and all that, but I don't take pleasure into situations which are embarrassing to some people. I don't put much into them. I just feel sorry that things like that happen. But that teaches them when they're going to be professional dancers that they could happen on stage.
100%. And I don't actually mean it in terms of, watching other people really fail. Like, for example, my daughter, when she used to compete like jazz and lyrical and whatever, and she had suspenders on, and the first 8 counts, both of her suspenders popped like this. And they were safety pinned at the top. And she was in a duet, and her duet partner and her suspenders helicoptered around her and and it was amazing because her partner saw that and changed the spacing so the suspenders wouldn't hit her. At one point they had wrapped around Abby's neck and done all of this, and by the end the judges were on their feet and they were they won everything, but I mean they were great anyway, but the judges were like, that was amazing and you guys showed that you were professionals. I mean, Abby was getting hit with the medal and they were like, you never missed a beat, you guys were awesome. Judge came up and high-fived them afterwards. So that's what I mean. I mean, as a parent, I was dying oh my God, I forgot to pin it in. But they never missed a beat and just rocked it. So that's what I mean by crazy. It doesn't have to be some kid had some horrible accident, just goofy.
Like this year, we had countries like Mongolia. I never heard of Mongolia ever since I left 30, 40 years ago almost. And so, oh my God, Mongolia still exists. And they came prepared. And one of the girls, I think, they won. And they were unbelievable training, which is happening in Mongolia, Vietnam, another country, which we never, there are people, so we are sick from entire world at this point because the World Ballet Competition. I was worried about ballet at one point or another that it's going to be just done, but
really,
no.
What changed your mind?
Well, because I see so many people coming, and not just people coming. Like I said, we're selecting them of hundreds or whatever. We're selecting the best of the best, from those hundreds of them. But they're good. It's not just like they are volume; they are quality. So that's what changed my mind. Yes, ballet is not going to die. It's going to happen.
I love the hope. So I think ending on what would you like people to take away from this conversation today? What, if we could distill that down into what you would like people to really know about World Ballet Competition, what would that be?
Well, first of all, it's discipline what ballet brings. The qualities of ballet, focus, determination. I mean, you have to enjoy. You have to be involved. Completely to like something which is very difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
In the ballet, once I say this often, once a dancer got the drug, is probably the healthiest drug you can ever use out there, if there it is. There's nothing wrong with that, because we have adults which they grew in our school, they come now as parents to take classes. And then also, to me it's difficult, as now I'm not dancing anymore and all that. It's difficult to go to a gym because all of our muscles are completely different structured. Basically, you build muscles in a ballet class. So that's what you're gonna. Plus, it's ethics. I mean, all the superlatives what ballet can offer. Today, I read an article recently that the 500 companies are looking for what was trained ballet dancers or people involved in dance in ballet, because they are so structured and then determined, and they are so to the end that they have to finish what they start and all that. So there's nothing wrong with ballet. Ballet I would encourage for boys, girls, everybody, because but ballet is just something for everybody should continue to do.
I think that is a wonderful place to end it. I think you're such an incredible advocate for the art of ballet, and it really seems like your competition is really trying to evolve what a competition should be, and I like that you are so aspirational to try to be as transparent and open with your competitors as possible to give them a complete experience.
Oh, that's another thing. I do love people. And I think that shows, because I keep in touch with so many of them, and many of them we run into each other different places, and remember. Oh, you remember? I was like, well, you change a little bit, but yeah, sure. I mean, it is a okay competition. It is a place where you meet people. It is a place where remain good memories from people you meet, and especially when you're involved and you're serving the same line, you have in common a lot of things. Those are the good things about the competition, that a lot of ramifications take place, because there are only people there. I'm talking ballet, because there are other competition. I call them feel good competition. Those everybody gets something there.
Right. Yes.
So, but there's nothing wrong, probably, to some extent, except when parents go overboard. They cannot even afford it, but because of the frenzy of this and all that, I mean, I would never, ever encourage anybody to do that, because it's not worthy. It's not worthy any excitement, but you to be involved in there, that you don't have food on the table, but you. And I see some situations which I don't agree with. Like I said, especially ballet competition, just one tutu is probably thousands of dollars. Point shoes, there's hundreds of dollars now, whatever, and how many they go through. Not to talk about the rest of it, tiaras and whatever. It's expensive. And to get so sick about a competition just because you're participating and all that is not healthy. It's just not healthy. And this is why, first thing, when somebody in our place is interested to look at the competition, I take them in. I said, do you have money? Well, we're okay. Can you afford thousands of dollars? Why? That's what it costs. Tens of thousands of dollars, especially now when, these people are coming from Australia, from China, from Singapore, from God knows where, Europe and all that. hotel alone, food, a plane ticket, plus the equipment, plus they are not coming unsupervised. It's lots of money. Good thing is that, here they can go and visit Goofy, you know.
Sure. The lure of Disney World is strong.
So many of them probably they do come with the families like that, because probably this is an opportunity for lifetime opportunity that they can do that and then to see Donald Duck and whoever, whatever, and all those parks. And that's a good family combination of a trip and all that, which is excusable. But just to kill, to be there, even because you felt like you did well. This is where I would like parents support. I would like parents to be transparent, listen to the people, the professional people, what their child, what the instructions are, and what the advice they give. Nobody would like to give ill advice, especially when it comes to youth. But that's where we need the parents to be supportive and caring and not ignoring that they are professionals who do this for a living. Give them credit.
And I have to tell you, the studio my son went to, he didn't do very many competitions. He did maybe, for the 3 years he was there, he maybe did 4 total. And our studio always said they liked World Ballet the best.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. And I see why not? Because everybody think we have a huge organization. No, we are actually a small staff, but we care.
Yeah,
we care, and that's what it shows. Because lots of compliments are that it's the most organized competition we ever been to, and
that's what they said. And they said that their favorite thing was the scoring, was that you found out your scores right away. And I'll never forget watching my son perform, and then sitting there with his teachers, and he held up a little sign that said, "Hi, Mom." In the area where he got the scores. So he had a great time when he was there.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you.
That's what we want all of them to do, to have a good time and live with the feeling of accomplishment. Because, personally, I keep telling them at orientation, you already won. You're a winner already because you got accepted. Right. And a lot of others, didn't, So this is why we want to do this regionals, because there are lots of people who would like to compete in our competition. I mean, there are plenty of competitions to compete in, but lots of solicitation is why don't bring it to our backyard, because we would have so many interested. Sure. Well, I kept it behind, I guess, but I think we're ready to let it go.
If you liked what you heard on this episode, please take a moment and help us spread the word. Follow us and leave us a review on your preferred podcast platform. Tell a friend and share on your social media. Also, now that your dancer has returned from their summer intensives, please head over to ballethelpdesk.com and leave an anonymous review of the program. Help your fellow dance parents by letting them learn all about the good, the bad, and everything in between. To stay in the loop on all of our latest content, subscribe to our newsletter at ballethelpdesk.com and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until next time, have a great day.